Hey everybody, I'm Howard, and this is Otter's Retirement Corner. So today we're going to talk about Medicare because it is time to sign up for Medicare. Those of you who have been retired and over 65 and have had Medicare 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, you're probably going to do what you've been doing all along and not make any changes. But for those of us, excuse me, the camera just jumped. It may again. So for those of you who are new to Medicare or are thinking of changing plans, this is probably pretty relevant to you. But I'm interested in your opinions and what you're doing and what you think I should do because I haven't made a decision yet. So here's what's going on. Here's 2025 this year. This is what I've been doing now. This is what my costs have been. I got a Part B premium just like everybody else, $22.20 a year. That's set in stone. All right, I have a supplement plan or a medigap plan, and my plan pays 100% of whatever Medicare Part B doesn't pay. So in essence, when you get billed on a Medicare charge, say it's $100, Part B will typically pay $80 of that. And then either you're stuck for the rest, or if you have a plan like I do that pays 100%, we're just going to ignore the camera. I'm sorry. I got a really weird stand. All right, so the other $20 is paid by my plan. So I never pay anything out of pocket as long as it's covered by Medicare. I recently had a platelet injection in my shoulder that wasn't covered by Medicare because it's it's still an experimental treatment. So I paid $1,000 out of pocket, but that has nothing to do with any of this. That would have happened anyway. So just forget I said that. All right, so I have a Part D plan, which is for drugs, and I have a zero premium. So despite that, I pay very little for pharmaceuticals, for prescriptions. All right, and then you have the Part B deductible that everybody has as part of your Part B plan. That's $257. Everyone's got the same $257. So my costs were $51.66, plus I spent about $25 for prescriptions, and that brought me to $51.91. Now, that was locked in. I knew going into the year, this was the most I could spend because everything is covered. All right, I'm going to pay these premiums, I'm going to pay that deductible, and everything is covered except drugs, and that was minimal. So I knew my cap was $51.66 plus drugs, so $51.91 is about what I'll spend this year. Obviously, the year's not over. This could change slightly, but that's pretty much what we're looking at. So now the decision is, do I stick to that plan? Because what has happened is, as Part B premium is going up. That's regardless of whatever plan you get in Medigap. I originally bought this policy for $199 a month. This year it was $221. Next year it's going to $262. So it's rising very rapidly. So I'm going to pay a lot more there, $400 or $500 a month more. The deductible is going up to $280. That's going to hit everybody regardless of what plan you have anyway. I guess this would say about the same. So this is probably going to go to about $5,500, $5,600. So now I'm thinking, okay, what if I can control my costs a little bit better? Because right now, every time something happens, I'll go get an X-ray, I'll go get an MRI, I'll go to my doctor. I have no hesitation. That's part of the problem with these plans is we don't avoid going to doctors when it's a little thing. I won't say I go for little things, but if the doctor says maybe we should get an MRI, boom, MRI, because it costs me nothing. If it costs me something, I might think twice. Probably not, because I only go when I know something's wrong. So anyway, here's what I'm looking at for 2026. Medicare Part B is going to go to $24.35 a year for everybody. You, me, everybody. All right, so now I'm thinking about a high deductible G plan for my Medigap. And this was also a G plan, by the way. It's going to cost $792 a year in premiums compared to this $2689, which is more like about $3,100 if I stick with the same company. So, I'll save about $2,300 on my premium. The difference is I pay some deductible costs, which for this plan is $2,870. Now that's the 20% that Medicare doesn't pay. So that's the equivalent of about $16,000 in care. If I use up $16,000 in Medicare chargeable care, I would end up paying 28.70, 20% of that out of my pocket. I'm guessing drugs will be about the same. So I'm looking at a cap of about $6,100 compared to this going up to about $5,500, $5,600. So the question is, do I gamble and switch over to this plan, or do I stay with this plan and know for sure what my costs are and possibly pay less? Because with this one, I could possibly pay less. If I end up spending 1,000 instead of 28.70 and say, $1,800, I'm down to $4,300. I've tried this before. It's sort of like, okay, what care am I going to need over the next year? Well, I may need knee surgery that I'm going to shove into December, but what injuries are going to happen? Do I need another back surgery? Am I going to have shoulder surgery? What new injury am I going to get? It's all a game of craps. Um, and for the difference in these dollar amounts for $600-700 a year, does it matter? You tell me. I've got calls into a couple insurance companies to talk about policies and their actual rates, because sometimes they're different than what's on the Medicare site, which that's a great resource. If you haven't used it, go on the Medicare site and it'll show you all the policies available in your area. But tell me what you're doing. Tell me what you think about this, which way you would go. Other things I haven't thought of. What have I missed? You tell me. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.